Well, welcome everybody. It's Hastings and Lindahl. It's the hot mic with Hastings and Lindahl. And man, we are in the middle of some playoff action. Scott Hastings, it's been great. It's been glorious. It's been beautiful. You've traveled to lovely Minnesota. I'm sure it's not cold at all. What is the weather doing out there, by the way?
It's beautiful. I think we landed today and it was like 70 degrees
All right.
and just beautiful, warm. Had a hoodie on, had to take it off.
All right. Have you noticed anything? I'm trying to pull up Leggy's top 100 so we could talk about a couple of things with him. Have you noticed anything in the city yet? Have you been out in the city enough? Like, is the animosity going to be returned for the Nuggets that the city of Denver seems to have for the T-Wolves?
I don't know. I'll get a feel when I get to the game tomorrow, maybe. I think they believe in their team. I mean, they don't have a lot to cheer for, Minnesota. So I think they like this team. I think they like Anthony Edwards, and listen. I think they know it's a rivalry, just like Denver knows it's a rivalry. You were talking about it a month before the playoffs started. Let's hope it's not Minnesota. I hate Minnesota. So, and I asked you, I think we did a little crossover on our radio. I said, "Is Minnesota the Nuggets stars for the Avalanche?"
Yeah, and I don't think. I mean, the difference is, unfortunately, for the Avalanche, the Nuggets have beat the T-Wolves, so I think that makes it more of a rivalry to your end,
that's
right?
still 4 years ago. I mean, that's a few. I mean, this group did on the year they won the championship, so maybe that's a good sign if Denver can come back from being tied at one up. Maybe that's a good sign. You beat them again. Wemby goes down with a concussion yesterday in that game. How long is he out? That thing. If
That looked bad too, man.
that
He got his
lands,
arms pinned underneath him, and he took a full chin to the floor, dude. That was not good.
yeah, I thought it'd be more of a cracked jaw than a concussion because he got up and acted fine. I'll be surprised if he doesn't play Friday. To be honest with you, I bet he plays. I don't think. I don't know, but I don't know. I guess the NBA's protocols, you have to have 48 hours, nothing. Well, luckily, you had 3 days in between the games, so.
Well, that worked out.
But who knows? If he misses a game or two, and all of a sudden, Portland can go up 3-1, even with Wemby back. It's like we always talk about a hockey. You get a hot goalie, you get some dude. Scooter can sit there and what's his name? What's the guy's name? Anyway, he makes 10 threes. The 3-point line is like a hot goalie that stands on his head anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's a hell of a comparison there, Scotty, because one of the biggest reasons in my mind why the Nuggets didn't win that game the other night, because I went back and looked at the numbers, they didn't hit their threes. And when they hit threes, nobody can stay with them. When they don't hit threes, you get uncomfortable games and you lose uncomfortable games sometimes. And that's what happened the other night. Yeah. I looked at the start, like Cam Johnson, Nikola Jokic, and somebody else was 1 for whatever from the 3-point line. You can't have that. Jamal Murray ended up like 4 of 11. He was almost, 40%. So you're not going to complain about that. And I think Tim Hardaway Jr. did all right. But yeah, guys that you need to hit threes weren't hitting threes. And that's just really the difference in the game for them.
Joker was 1 of 7.
Yeah.
Hardaway made a couple early and then missed some. Cam Johnson missed 3 or 4 just wide open ones, And it's not just making threes. I always say this, and I feel like a dummy, and I don't know if people do it long enough now that people get me, but when I see when a guy swing, and all of a sudden there's a guy by himself, and you're playing a tight game, you got to make that shot. I mean, you aren't going to, it's not a guaranteed shot. It's not a layup, right? But it's one of those shots in big games. You can just feel momentum. It's a 1-2 point game or whatever it is. Boom, boom, boom. Ball moves one side, all of a sudden wide open, and it's a clank. Man, that's the ones you got to make. Joker had a couple the other day that, wide open guy stepping off, and he makes those. He makes a couple of those. The game's different. Win the game.
Well, yeah, there's so many shots like that we could talk about a little bit. By the way, say hi to Sam. Sam's watching. Only 10 people watching on YouTube. We'll get him there, Sam. It takes a minute for everybody to get fired up. And You know what? This show will get more consistent as we get out of Nugget season, but between Scotty's schedule and my schedule, sometimes getting the consistent night's a little bit tough. This worked out perfectly. We were going to do Scotty and I did do one a week ago, but it was on our channel, which we obviously have more people on the station's channel, and because they were doing it early between the pipes. So if you want to go back to After Hours with Andy Lindahl, you can find last week's episode. And by the way, we got 100 people watching.
There you go.
We do this on so many different channels. It's not just YouTube. It's on Twitch. It's on my X. It's on the station's X. There's a station Facebook. Blah, blah. There's just so many different outlets. So anyway,
like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe if you'd like to the YouTube. We do appreciate you watching, Sam. Don't take that the wrong way. Look, man,
Sam's an OG listener for the.
We love Sam. Yeah, we appreciate Sam. We appreciate all of you, even if you hate us. It's still.
I have a cousin, Sam.
Did you?
Yeah, it was short for Samantha.
Oh, okay. I always thought Sam was a hot girl's her name, Sam. How about that?
You know what? You know what? Now that you say that, she was probably grown up my best looking cousin.
Well, there you go. There's certain names where they're probably hot, and other names where they're probably not. I haven't met a lot of hot Ruths in my life.
My grandmother was named Ruth.
Well, I'm sure she was a handsome woman.
Listen, I didn't know her until she was a grandma, so I wouldn't go down the hot road with her. Ruth Buzzy was cute.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Ruth Buzzy had some options.
Yeah, there you go. Real quickly, I'm going to answer this question because I want to get back in the Nuggets. Dawson's asking me about any updates on Q. Listen, Andrew Q, we think is going to play, but we don't know. I'm not even positive what the injury is just yet. The guys will get into town Thursday, and then I'll start doing my snooping around there, Dawson. But now,
did they play Saturday?
They play Saturday, and we need Andrew Q to play. He's been phenomenal. He's an MVP candidate. I wish people knew more about the Mammoth because Andrew. How about this? Imagine Steph Curry. I don't even know how to relate it. Imagine John Elway or Bo Nix. We'll keep it recent vintage. Imagine Bo Nix throwing for 30 touchdowns and missing a third of the games. That's Andrew Q. Leads the league. I got to go back and double check it. He was leading the league in goal scoring, and he missed a couple games here and there, and then he missed these last couple of games. So maybe I guess it's a quarter games, but the dude's been unreal, and the Mammoth need him, and they need to get by San Diego this week, an old playoff rival of its own. It's crazy. All the Ball Arena residents, Mammoth, Avs, and Nuggets, obviously, are all playing rivals from past playoff victories. You know what I do think is good when it comes to the Avs? The Kings. I feel like every year they play the Kings, they end up winning the Cup.
You know what? I will say this about the Kings. Watch those first two games. And I know every year is different, and you just can't boom, 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 boom. I have no idea how Edmonton beat those guys, what, 2 or 3 straight first rounds?
It was the goaltending. Which sadly was Darcy Kemper.
Well, still, the way they play, because listen, and we've had concerns that the Avs needed to be more physical and all that stuff. And I think they stood up well to it. Edmonton ain't physical.
No, they're not. But Draisaitl is a little bit he's a little bit all day sucker, as you used to call it. That's a bigger guy than some of the Avs stars.
Kind of like a Nichushkin guy.
Yeah, that's a great call. He's got the size of Nichushkin with a little more score. Is Nichushkin going? How we feel about Nichushkin right now?
He had 2 or 3 moments, I thought, last game. By the way, the Wall knocking it in. It was 11. I looked up. Susie went in. It was 11:55 p.m. when that sucker went in last night. He had a couple plays that are like, oh, there he is, and then he had a couple bobbles. And the announcers. I was watching on ESPN, and they said, in fact, they asked EJ, who you and I have been talking about. That Eric Johnson is killing it, man.
I love him.
For a first-year guy, is absolutely killing it. But he was talking about the ice and choppy ice, and even McCarr had 2 or 3 just bobbled right there at the blue line. You're like, okay, and it just pops over his thing, and all of a sudden you're got to clear the offsides, and I'm like, I mean, you're too good. What are you doing? So EJ did talk about, and they asked him about the ice being a little funky last night. So I don't know if you thought so.
Yeah, he said every building struggles as it gets warmer. I do think it has maybe a little bit more to do with the fact that the Nuggets had played and a lot of people moving in and out. And let's be honest, it's been 4 great days of playoff action inside there. And it's been warmer in the city. So I'm not dismissing what EJ said, because you and I both know it was 80 degrees today here in Denver. It's whack. This is what's crazy. I got my wife lilacs years ago that I put in front of you've seen them in front of the deck. Well, it turns out I like them too. Who knew? I didn't know. But those things already bloomed, and normally those things aren't blooming until around Mother's Day, if not after. So like everything around here, it feels like 3 weeks earlier than usual.
But they smell great, don't they?
Well, they do. And then we always get a hard freeze and it kills half my blooms. But anyway, people are wanting the Mammoth on the Altitude app. Sam, I'm all for it, brother. Trust me. I've got the Altitude app and I've got YouTube TV, and luckily, you can watch us on ESPNU this weekend if you've got that. Look at that. So Dawson's one of our guys in Canada, if I'm not mistaken, right, Dawson? 12 games, 7 points per game, 45 goals. He's second in the NLL. He only played 12 games, and I believe it's a 16-game season. I'm losing all my math here because I've been in such Avs and Nuggets mode. It's weird because when you don't do the TV every day like you do, I only get to do, for those that don't know, I only get to do the home games. I wish I could travel, honestly, or I wish we would just go to a studio and get the direct feed and let me call it from there. You get these stretches like we played our last home game beginning of April, and I haven't been around the team in a couple of weeks, and it just kind of sucks. You know what I mean? You lose it. 18 games. There it is. 18 games. That's even more impressive. He's missed 6 games this year.
Does Altitude play the replays though or something? Because I watch.
Yeah, the TV, but that's Altitude TV. Altitude TV is not on YouTube. So I've got the Altitude Plus app, but they don't put the Mammoth games on Altitude Plus. And it's because, to answer your question, Sam, I should have given it a better answer. The NLL has its own app. You can go to NLL.com and watch most of these games, or NLL Plus, or ESPN Plus when it's done. So they have, again, guys, Nate Kreckman went on a big rant. Watching sports in the modern day is not easy. You got to have 1,000 subscriptions. You got to have 1,000 streaming services. And because ESPN Plus, which we're proud to be on because it's a national deal, I've got friends in other states that like to watch Little Mammoth because they know me. And they're getting into the game because it's like hockey. A lot of hockey fans around here that don't understand indoor lacrosse. If you know hockey, then you know indoor lacrosse. Frankly, what I like, we're talking about basketball here. I've told you, I've got so many basketball friends that understand the indoor game because of the pick setting, and you're trying to work it around. You got the cuts, you got the give and goes. You're trying to get the rebounds, you're trying to get the putbacks. There's a lot of similarities between. Matter of fact, there are a couple of Canadian guys. I'm trying to remember. Jeb Putz here was friends with them, and maybe Dawson remembers them. They're a set of 3 brothers, and they were massive dudes. They were all like 6'8". One was 6'11". One was like 6'10". And Jeb went to Boise State with them. It's killing me. I can't remember their names. And they all played basketball together. And so for those that don't know, Jeb Putz here, former Bronco tight end. I was trying to teach Jeb the lacrosse stick. He was going to have a tryout with the Mammoth because he was such a big, thick dude.
Big athletic dude.
Yeah. Steve Govett, the GM at the time, thought about giving him a tryout, but he had a bad concussion history. And Steve's like, I don't want to take a chance at that. So, and as it turns out, Jeb has struggled with CTE, so it probably was the right move. It wasn't the Dawsons, but
my daughter was a good basketball player, and after I think her sophomore year made varsity, and one of the girls who was like an all-state at Arapahoe and played basketball too, and talked her into going out, and she ended up becoming, because remember I brought her to the station and you were showing her stuff how to catch and throw. Ashley, my oldest daughter, and we were out there in that parking lot right by KOA, right? And you were showing how to catch, and you're talking about the difference of the pocket. With the girls' pocket is deeper, and the boys' pocket is so flat, and blah blah blah.
You have it reversed, but you're right. The girls is flat, and the boys is deeper.
Well, and anyway, we made. So we threw around stuff like that. She made the team, ended up starting as a defensive player, but I picked it up so quick And I went to one of the coaches one time. I said, "Dude, you guys run fast breaks like basketball. Get out the lane, cut up, boom, cut by the basket or anything. Try to get defenses to run each other, bing, bing, bing. Screen a guy, have a person come through, run them off the back, kind of X screens like stuff, and not necessarily stop and set a pick, but I mean, you see a lot of that. I always tell the story of my daughter because she was pretty aggressive. She wasn't me, but she was she's pretty athletic.
She wasn't an NBA tough guy throwing Charles Barkley to the ground.
She's playing her very first lacrosse game, and she knew how to slide, like staying in front of somebody with the ball, wiggling and doing all that. She could stay in front because she knew how to defensive slide. I mean, that's right. Basketball too. I mean, and so they had her start on defense, and she was pretty good. But they got a breakout in her first game, and it was almost like you see in the cartoons and stuff. But girls going, boom, drop the ball. She's trying to run and scoop it while she's running. My daughter's right behind her, sticks that stick right between her legs, trying to get the ball. And it's like, sticking a stick in a bike. Boom, that girl. What? We had a good time following lacrosse with him. That was cool.
Yeah, it's it is. So Sam's saying that lacrosse is on the Altitude app. Box is hard to cover college app. Well, I haven't found the Mammoth on Altitude because I've looked. But anyway, if it's there, that's good to know. I need more of it on there. Is this, by the way, is this Pops? Is this Jeff White? Is that you? Let me know there, Jay Beast. That'd be one of my old teammates. We call him Pops. So, and then Sam Breezy. Yeah, look, man, hopefully some more Outlaws, the whole deal. The PLL's on Altitude. It was on Altitude. The station, like if you have Comcast or DirecTV, you can see it on Altitude, but not on the app sometimes. Anyway, let's get back to the Nuggets. Let's get into this thing.
Hey, since you got all your lacrosse boys out, tell your boys who called the World All-Star game at Mile High that one time.
We did do the MLL All-Star game with our guy. I didn't call it, though. I was just helping you.
Me, I called it.
You've called everything. For those that don't know Scott Hastings' history, Scott Hastings is the voice of both the Broncos' first Super Bowl and now the Nuggets' first Larry O'Brien trophy. Yeah. So you should have snuck on the broadcast with Connor and called Game 6 of that the Avs in Tampa.
Well, Connor did let me call a game, though. I did call a game in Boston. I did get to sit in the color guy for Boston. And then I did that play-by-play for that All-Star game. And remember, it was the old lacrosse coach for DU.
Yeah, Jamie Munford, for those that would remember him. He was you know what? He's the one. God, is that now? I feel like I'm getting that right. Jamie Monroe. Never mind. I think it's Jamie Monroe. Munford was, I think, one of their players, one of their attackmen. Jamie Monroe hired me at Vista to coach with him after that. So he's the one that hired me in Mountain Vista to coach those for 3-4 years. So
because I think was it Gary Gates played that game?
Oh yeah, the Gates were in it. This was before the MLL. They wanted to feel it out. We called the game. 20, 30,000 people showed up or whatever, and so they put a team here. That's how the Outlaws got to come to Denver. You and I met Jake Steinfeld a bunch, and he was doing the Body by Jake and all that. And
that's
dude how to sell some stuff. So
he'll show the week leading up to it. We had him on the show. That's right.
Yeah. All right, what you and I've not had you and I talk about after every game usually. I've had some early morning crap going on, and it's so I don't always stay up as late to talk to you on these late night ones, but I am kind of curious. I never really got your full thought. I could tell by your comments on the radio, you're not overly worried about this, but is it fair to say we're all going to be a little disappointed if they don't come out with a little sauce for the Wolves tomorrow after all that noise?
Well, you lose a tough game. You had a chance to win. I don't think you've played very good in either game, to be honest with you. And as we just said a while ago, you make 2 more threes and you're up 2-0 in the series and not playing great. I don't think McDaniels helps his cause unless, guess what? Unless McDaniels is absolutely right on and they take it to Denver and embarrass them and then goodbye Denver, and then you and I's won't be our last podcast, but the last podcast talking about the Nuggets season will be probably going to be some changes.
Well, see, it's so funny you bring it up. I get so much crap from people, including you. And I get it. Tyson Berry cannot believe the passion and intensity I brought for my hate for Jamie Benn and Pete DeBoer and everybody come hockey time, because I love friggin' hockey. He's like, you need to see someone about that. I was like, just tell me that when Jamie Benn is all over your guy, you don't want someone to just deck his ass? I mean, come on. I want someone to just deck his ass to let him know, no, I ain't having none of this today. We are not having any of this today, period.
What did Barry say?
Tyson seems shocked that I gave a damn that much. But look, and I'm glad Dawson's on here listening. In lacrosse, you don't let people pick on your dudes, especially when they're the top friggin' dudes, okay? When anybody goes at the goalie, look it up. You guys think I'm lying about this? Go look at the YouTube page for the NLL. There's about 1,000 fights because somebody went into the goalie's legs. That's the surefire way that someone's. When I told you, when Wedgwood got bent around the pipe in the second to last game, I wanted that dude's ass kicked. I don't care if he lost his edge. You touched my goalie, you get your ass kicked. That's the unwritten friggin' rule, and nobody cares. Nobody cares, man. My God, it's like, go do something. When Jamie Benn's in the face of freaking Nathan McKinnon, someone needs to go whoop his ass and let him know we ain't letting you do that. But I guess that's not how it's played anymore. I guess I'm just old man screaming at the clouds in my basement. It drives me crazy, though. You got to stand up for your guys. Isn't that? I thought that was the Piston way. Some of what I'm talking about, I learned watching you in the pros, for God's sake.
Two things. One, I was a little shocked last night that there was especially the first two periods, there's a whole lot of skirmishes going on.
Yeah, good.
And I'm like, whoa, I thought this didn't happen. In fact, we talked about it on our radio show that day. This stuff don't happen in the playoffs. You don't have guys. I mean, there was one time there was 3 piles with dudes swinging. You had 3 piles going. And I'll be honest with you. I'm a caveman. I'm an old caveman. You know what? I'm the chief. I'm the old chief that sits back and as the little maidens bring me grapes so I can eat and go gumming because I have no teeth left. So that's me now. But I was like, I mean, that first second period sold me. There was no way I was not going to stay up till 12 o'clock in the morning. And then, by the way, stayed with Scott Van Pelt afterwards for the next 45 minutes. I didn't go to bed after 1 because I want to see all the highlights again. And by the way, and I don't watch tons of non-Avalanche hockey, but I'm going to tell you what, there was a whole lot of fun games that have been going on in the NHL playoffs if you haven't missed them. And the NBA's had some good games too. So I hope you're watching the playoffs. But it sunk me last night. So I'm probably not as ferocious as you anymore, but I get you. But I've told you the story when I went to Detroit. Bill Lambier sat me and David Greenwood down, and we were having the training camp in Windsor, Canada. First practice, he goes, he didn't even ask. He just said, "Hey, what you guys doing for dinner?" He goes, "David, Scott, meet me at 6 o'clock in the lobby. We're going to dinner." Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Went to dinner, and I swear to God, it was right out of The Untouchables, like Sean Connery. I wish Bill Lambier had a personality and could do impersonations, and if he could have talked in a O'Connor's kind of accent. But he sat on one side of the table, 6'11", me and David, both 6'10", sitting on the other side, like at the principal's office, us two sitting shoulder to shoulder, and Bill sitting on by himself with all this room. He goes, "Let me tell you about who we are." Just like that. He's got a sense. He ain't got no sense of humor. He thinks he does. He ain't got no sense of humor. He goes, "Our team is run by our guards. Our guards determine how successful we are."
Joe Dumars and Isaiah Thomas don't maybe remember.
So somebody knocks our guard to the floor, we knock their guard out of the game. He said it just like that. That's Sean Connery. "We got to do it the Chicago way. So somebody pulls a knife, we pull a gun. Somebody puts ours in the hospital, we put theirs in the morgue. That's the Chicago way." I'm getting the Detroit way. I've been officially, I guess since camp started, a Piston for like 48 hours. He said, we're run by guards. If somebody puts our guard on the floor, we put theirs out of the game. I mean, matter of fact, wasn't no question. Boom, boom, boom. And so, yeah, that's how I grew up. So you're right, because just what you said, you know what? Our guards were the stars. Joe Dumars and Isaiah Thomas were the stars. So he said guards, but you're Bill Lambier. You're saying you hit my star. No, you pay back.
Scotty, my dad taught, because growing up, I was a run of a kid. That's probably why I had to play lacrosse. I had a lot of built up anger from being the short kid to take out when I got to high school. But my dad told me one point. I came home, got picked on, or I don't know, hit, whatever. It was a different time, right? You and I, first off, for anybody younger, you got your ass kicked at school. You better figure it out, because there was no prevention programs. We weren't going to have counseling. You just got your ass kicked.
We got to talk about our feelings today.
Yeah, nobody wanted to talk about the feelings. Just
feel like
take a different round home, kid. I got told that. Just take a different round home. They won't find you there, and they found me.
I'm feeling like I want to get a little payback. That's how I'm feeling.
Yeah. So, my dad told me. He goes, bottom line. He goes, until you punch them back, they're going to keep doing it. He goes, and he's like, he just said, you've met my dad. He's kind of quiet. He just said, until you punch them back, it's going to keep coming. And, so that's a lesson from childhood. And then you get to lacrosse, and this is just what we did in football, dude. I played with football guys where you don't mess with, I just felt like we're a team out here. You know what I mean? We're here to take care of it. It's us versus, but I guess I don't know how we got on this, but we did. That's the difference in our generations, though, right, Scotty? I'm not here to trade jerseys with you. We can be pals and respect each other after a while, but in the heat of the moment, I don't like you. We're not. It's like Gabe Landeskog said, there are no countrymen in the playoffs. I don't care that Kempe is my Swedish. He's not he lives in Sweden like me. He ain't my teammate.
Kobe Bryant, first play of the game, said, don't get it to whatever. Tony Kukoc is about ready to come and be a Chicago Bull with Michael. Is Michael? I think it was Michael. No. It was Paul Gasol and Kobe. Paul's going to set a screen. I'm going to run right through it, and he put a shoulder and knocked his teammate that he ended up winning an NBA championship with on his game. Listen, I always brag about this. So I got 4 kids: daughter, son, daughter. So it's my second daughter. And she's a pretty good soccer player, and they're playing soccer in at the time they call it the Pepsi Cup for you in town. I don't know if it's still called the Pepsi Cup, or it's all the teams, and it's invitational, people all over. And they're playing this team from Kansas City that had been undefeated, was nationally ranked, and our kids are like 12, 13, somewhere in that age group, 11, 12, 13, somewhere in there. And they haven't been beaten, and they're beating teams in this tournament 6-0. Ball goes high up in the air, and one of these Kansas City kids, 2 girls meet in the middle, and the one Kansas City kid just jumps up in the air, knee pointed out like this, catches one of our little girls in the chest. Boom, runs her flat. Boom, penalty, free kick right here. Bam, bam, bam. Girls crying for 10 minutes. Game stop. Bam, 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 bam. And I'm like, oh, that's going to help. That's going to help our little fearsome, intimidated suburban girls. And I tell a story in pride. It ain't 2 minutes. Same type of play. Balls way up in the air. And that same girl that had flown in there with the knee is coming for the ball again. This time it's my daughter. And I could see it. It became like in slow motion, those movies. And you're like, oh, no.
Yeah.
I'm watching her. And Andy, the ball's 15 feet in the air. Her eyes are on you, on that other girl. She never looks where the ball is. She takes off and runs in perfect timing. And right before she gets her step and a half, jumps up in the air, same knee that other girl just threw, and planted this girl on her backside. Stopped the game, 5-10 minutes. Everybody's crying. And I guarantee you, first time that team had ever cried. It's the first time anybody ever stood up to them. They were bullies. They were bullies on the soccer pitch. Dang, if we didn't beat them 4-2. and they hadn't lost in like 2 years. They'd won some national tournaments and da da da. And our little girls won 4-2. And it goes back to what your dad told you. No one had ever stood up to them. But it turned out my kid.
Wasn't afraid to. Well, she's the daughter of a Hastings. So.
Which I'm a little proud of. But you know what I'm saying? And this is the same thing that I kind of liked what the Avs did last night. I thought they stood up to the Kings. I didn't think they backed down. And that's what the Nuggets have got to do tomorrow. If the Nuggets back down, they're going to get their ass kicked. The series is going to be over in 6 games, 5. I don't think it'll be done in 5, but it'll be done in 6 games. See you later. Hasta la vista, baby. What are we going to do in the offseason?
Dude.
If they don't step up, if they back down, if the last game was an indication and now you're intimidated,
that's why
Hubie Brown told me, and it stuck with me because I knew about about 3 years in, I wasn't going to get no time, so I better figure out how I can stay in the league, be tough, set screens, knock people around. But Hubie Brown said in one of our first meetings, said the first time you back down in this league, the league owns you. The league owns you. And then you're done. You're through. Might as well say goodbye.
Well, this is why what I'm hoping for, when you and I would talk in the summer about or fall, how excited we were about Jonas Valanciunas, I always thought in the back of my mind the Minnesota series. If they got to play Minnesota, it's another 7-footer. He's a big physical guy. He'll come in handy there. I was so pissed off he got the 3 quick fouls because, I always think of you. I know Tony Brothers watch foul count. You could totally, it just felt like he's doing it the other night. Oh, I called too many here, and I got to call some over here. Now I got to get back here. So Jonas gets fouled. Like, to me, what we're describing, that's Valanciunas. Now, he looked a little slow the other night, which bummed me out, but I'm telling you, I think that dude will put someone on their ass if they want to go showboating through the lane down. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't mind a couple of those. I'd take a couple of those hard fouls, just let them know you're not getting to the hoop like that tonight, dude.
I don't think you can play small ball against Minnesota because they're two bigs. When they go small ball is Reed and Randall.
And they can run.
That's some physical. That's some good physical. Reed goes to the glass every single play. And I think when you switch out, you put a guard on him, Tim Hardaway tried to block him out a couple times. Tim Hardaway ain't gonna block out Reed if he wants to get to the offensive glass. It's tough to do. And so I would almost, if I were coaching, I would go to like you and listen. It's probably why we're friends, because probably we're somewhere, there's some DNA in our blood.
There's some shit that needs to be talked out.
there's some caveman DNA that we probably share somewhere. But I would tell Jonas, I'd say, Val, you're going to play about 6-8 minutes.
Yeah.
If you play good, you may play 10 or 12. In fact, I hope you play good, because I thought Joker looked tired late in the fourth quarter, because they're putting 3 7-footers on him all game long and just bounding, bam, 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 all the time. And then they brought in Kyle Anderson, who's he's a little guy at 6'10", and bam, bam. And I just thought he was worn down by the fourth quarter. But Jonas only played 3 minutes. And I know they played the small ball, but I thought the small ball got killed in the start of that fourth quarter and brought the game back a little bit. So I don't know how long you can really play that. And I think you do have to give Joker some rest. And I would tell Jonas tomorrow, I said, listen, you may only get 6 or 8 minutes. You got 6 fouls. I want to make them up. I don't need him flagrant, but I want a guy rubbing his side when he gets up after getting fouled. And if you play good, I hope I get you 12 to 14. And I would go with him and seriously, I'd live with the fact. And then if you got to bring in Aaron Gordon because he picks up 3 fouls in 4 minutes, okay. But then guess what? I come back with him the second time around, and same thing. You got 3 more. Let's go. Play 4 more minutes and get 3 more fouls. Okay. But I'd like to see that. I don't know. Maybe his feet's too slow. I don't know, but I think them going small hurt them yesterday or 2 days ago.
No, look, I'm with you, and they've got to play tough, and they've got to answer their bully, and they got to make Jaden McDaniels eat his words. I hope they do. I just want to see some pride where I want to see that kid roughed up a bit. And again, guys, when I say roughed up, I'm not talking about cheap elbows to the face or hurting a guy. But again,
you know what physical is anymore, and guys hate this too. And you see him always slapping. You've always got touch. He comes in the game before they even hand the ball to the out of bounds guy to pass it in. You got a hand in his chest. You got a forearm on his. You're leaning on him. You're always touching him. He's trying to move to a different spot. He has to go all the way around you because you're leaning in on him the whole time. Because eventually, sometimes those guys get frustrated and they do this, and officials come in. Okay, but you've got who was it? Malone said it before. I think David said it once, twice this year, but I think it's so true. You got to make them feel you.
yeah,
you got to make them feel you. And you know what? Isn't that in every sport? Isn't that
yes,
the same way in
especially
hockey?
in playoffs.
Isn't that the same way in the NFL playoffs? I mean, they got to feel you, right? And I didn't think Minnesota felt Denver in game 2.
No, they weren't. You know what bothered me about some of what went on, and I thought Adelman made a great point. I think you made a great point about it too. We don't listen to you enough. I'll admit that, especially if I'm enraged. I don't want to hear anybody. I just want I just want blood. But I felt like Minnesota knew if I get by my first defender, ain't nobody coming to help. And I think that's a little what McDaniels was talking about. I know if I get by my first defender, there's no one coming over to protect the rim. You know what I mean? So once I'm by you, I'm getting in clean. And again, like I said, a hard foul on the wrist maybe makes you a little sore. All right, that's basketball,
Well,
baby. That's playoffs. I don't know.
On the air, Joker, if we want to say it, he's not a rim protector.
Right.
I'll give you that. He's great when you come out and hedge. Well, that's defense too. And he's great when he's a center fielder in defense if you make that extra pass. But if you notice what the Minnesota did, and I think this is what McDaniels was talking about, once you break that first line, just go right to the rim. You play into his defensive aptitude, his defense, what he can really do because he's got such great hands. So if I'm penetrating here, I'm getting Joker to slide over, and I'm trying to pass it to that other guy low. How many times we see Joker steal that pass or snatch it? That's his strength. But his strength isn't, I'm just going to attack that shoulder. He's got 2-3 fouls anyway. But I'm going to attack that shoulder. He's not going to block that shot.
He's not the Kevin Mutombo.
and that's what they did. So if you want to say he ain't playing no defense, no, he ain't no rim protector. And listen, there's about 50 big guys in the league that ain't rim protectors.
You know what's funny though, and I thought Adelman did a great job of saying it. You said it the other day, and this is the part I don't think we all heard enough. Adelman, when asked about McDaniel's comments, he said, "It's not that we didn't." He brought up the defensive rating, right. but he admitted, "Look, we did not get rebounds. They got rebounds and second chances. Don't tell me we didn't play any defense. We didn't rebound off our defense was the problem."
And here's the thing, and I say this all the time in the broadcast too: defense or rebounding is part of defense. Doesn't count on your efficiency stat. It just gets another possession. You got a chance to stop them again. But it was 20-3 in second chance points and basically a 4-point game, 3-point game.
Possession, I feel like they got like three cracks at the thing, and you can't have that. I think like Randall finally put it home. You can't have it.
No.
And look, you know what I love? Gobert felt himself. He was all mad about Defensive Player of the Year, had the good quarter against Joker. I'm positive Joker's going to come back. I know Joker's going to play tough. I just need some other guys to join him. And that's why I wouldn't mind seeing Val out there. Again, I know it gets weird with Val and Joker out there together, but dude, if you could just give me a couple minutes of that somehow, I don't know. Look, I know they're the better team. You've got me convinced of that, but you got to be better about, you got to be better.
You have to do little things right.
You do. We lost your picture there. I don't know. Does that mean you're looking at something?
Yeah.
Did the warden hit you up?
The kids going to bed, and so they're blowing me up, and so.
Well, you got to tell them good night.
I just told him I got a podcast here.
Real quick, not real quick, but the Avs, I agree with you. I think the hitting started early. They returned the hit. Like, I almost felt like the Kings pissed them off, and we saw it different. For a little bit of it, it was a little bit about the Stars may try this, but we ain't letting you try this. We don't know who you think you are. Now, that fourth line, we were talking to John Michael Lyles today, and he goes, look, that fourth line for the Kings is no joke. They got 4 really big dudes, but and they're going to be matched up on the top line.
And yet it was the fourth line that won the game for you, wasn't it?
No, I'm talking about the Kings' fourth line.
Well, I know
a bunch
that,
of really big guys, but
usually they match up. I mean, who was in there with?
No, that I'm forgetting his name. The coach for the Kings is trying to get his fourth line on the McKinnon or the second line so that they can play physical with him. Now you better watch out. McKinnon's liable to go right around you. But you know what? Look, I told you guys today. I think I told you today. People make fun of me all the time. I do not care. It's back to the caveman thing. You know what I love about the winning goal? That was a playoff goal. Nick Waugh put his big ass in that crease, shoved a King out of the way, and tapped it home. And your goalie couldn't see crap because there's about 9 people. And you know what? I don't remember who the defenseman was. I think it was Manson. Just put it on net, dude. You don't have to be pretty. It can't always be. They tried to tic-tac-toe that triangle, and PK Subban broke it down. McCarr needed to enter it into Natchez earlier, who needed to either get it over to Gabe, or they needed to get back up to McCarr, but they just completely screwed it up. They got too tight in the box on the triangle. It made it easy for Anderson to play defense.
Yep.
Don't be, again, the playoffs are not about pretty. The regular season can be about pretty. This is about, like you said, it doesn't matter the sport, man. The Mammoth are going to go through with the NL. It is about just getting the damn ball in the net or over the goal line or the puck in the net or whatever. Getting the ball, just get the damn score. I don't care how you do it. Teams run the football in the NFL postseason. You know why? Because that's physical. That wears the other team down. I think the Avs are going to break out at some point. If the Avs could just get a lead earlier than they do, they're going to win 5-0 one of these. So how about our boy Wedgwood, though, huh? How about our boy Wedgwood? Huh? How about the one everyone's talking about, the glove save on the shootout? I told it to you last night. I meant to ask Lyles it today. I'd rather have the penalty shot than give me the penalty shot rather than the power play. You know what? Because first off, you're not wearing it's you and the goalie gets a clean look at you. And it's amazing how many times like Wedgwood just puts the big glove out, and frankly, Byfield just shot it right in. I lost my point. I don't know. I'm all fired up. I just think they can get a big win. And Wedgwood, that was going to be my point. Did you see the save Wedgwood made? He had 3 Kings around him and stuck the glove out and snagged that shot with one of the Kings right on the King's hip was on the glove.
Yep. Yeah, he had a lot of traffic in front of him and still made the play. How about the one stop he made when the dude hooked his stick and knocked it out of his hands?
That was freaking Brett Burns. His own defenseman took his stick away, and he still just closed the 5-hole down, man. It was Wedge. You know what? Wedgwood's one of those stories, and I feel like the Avs fans are rooting for him. But dude, it's a little like Trevor Siemian. I never understood the hate for Trevor Siemian. These are literally the underdogs we all claim we want to see, right? The Rudies of modern real sports. And people don't seem to want to root for him because I understand you signed Blackwood to a contract. Okay, so what? Wedgwood is playing out of his mind right now. Why would anybody think about changing that up?
Yeah, Wedgwood's slowly making him some money too now, isn't he?
Hey, if you really think Blackwood's your guy, and like I said, to me, in my mind, the whole competition starts all over again next year, and maybe Blackwood wins it. But dude, Wedgwood, if you decide Blackwood is the dude, you can't tell me you couldn't get some for a trade for Wedgwood. I wouldn't be trading it right now. Don't get me wrong, but guy might win the damn Conn Smythe the way he's going. All right, huh?
Yeah. Hey, the crowd got into it. Wedgie.
Well, yeah, it was great. All right, real quick, because I want to make sure we cut it off at the appropriate time. Tell your daughter good night. And one of our guys, Jay Beast was mentioning it, names to watch from Jeff Legwald, so that we all know about Stowers, the tight end. He said if Jacob Rodriguez, the linebacker from Texas Tech, falls to them on Friday, Leggy said pretty much today they ain't trading into the first round. It's not happening. So don't tomorrow, pick another team to root for their pick, or just watch to see what insanity goes down and enjoy it because the Broncos ain't getting involved.
Or you
But-
know what? Spend some time with your family and then spend the next 4 hours flipping back and forth between the Avs and Nuggets.
Well, again, get you some YouTube TV and you got you a split screen right there.
Yeah.
You got multi-view.
Turn the radio on and listen to Cosme.
Listen to Scott Hastings. Call it from Minnesota. But anyway, there it is. So Stowers, Rodriguez. There's the Ohio State tight end. I think it's Ewers, or where's the kid's name? CJ. Now, where is he? Darn it. Eli Stowers is the Vanderbilt tight end. Max Clare, the tight end from Ohio State. Clare, Stowers, Rodriguez. He thinks there's a couple, 3 other guys, but those are the guys that he thinks you should be very happy if they were to get it. So, Max Clare, he said Eli Stowers is a guy that's going to be really, really good. We'll see.
They're at 62 then.
Yeah, but they may trade up. We'll see. They may trade out too. Jeff warned us today. He goes, look, I could see a scenario where they may take 2 top of the draft 4th round picks and get all the way out of they may not pick till Saturday the way this is going. So we'll see. Oh, well, did you see Sean Payton at the game last night before you got out of town?
Yeah,
did you see him by the Kings bench?
He's right by the Kings bench. He was about 10 feet away from the broke glass.
Oh, yeah. And when it happened, that was kind of scary. So
wow. That's the fans balling up right there, man. That was the fans going Andy right there, pounding on that glass. You see that? You see that?
Oh, well, and I got to imagine it's pretty loud in that building, too. So I'm telling you, dude, I would love to ask you, goalie, one time, would you rather deal with a power play or a penalty shot? So,
well, maybe we'll get them 1-on-1. So that's the question. If your show or my show gets Wedgie on sometime during the postseason, we'll ask him that.
Well, there you go. Maybe we'll try to ask for him between rounds. Okay, what's your prediction for the Nuggets series? We're 1-1. You still feel, what'd you say, 5?
I think it comes back to Denver 2-2.
Okay. Is it done in 6 or are we going to 7?
7. Don't know. Because all I know is a couple years ago, Game 6, they didn't even try, and they got beat by 30, and then they lost Game 7. So hopefully they learned a lesson.
All right. Well, everyone go smell the lilacs in your neighborhood.
Yeah. Go by Andy's house.
Stop by my house. There's a bunch in front of the porch. My boxer's going to spaz out and might come through the door at you, but he's loving.
Hey, does anybody in Colorado grow honeysuckles?
I don't know. I don't have any. By the way, Jay Beast did ask me about the lacrosse game. There's a lacrosse video game coming out. I will play it. Yeah. What do you think about that? Now it's outdoor. Our guy Dawson is maybe not going to like that as much because it's outdoor.
I staring at my Xbox and
wondering why you own it.
On it like since COVID, I don't think, and I'm like, I hate even thinking about turning it on because as soon as I do, I know I've got about 120 days worth of downloads that it's got to take. It takes forever, right? Like 8 hours of downloads.
Yeah, you're probably best to because that's one of the OG models. I remember helping Julia find that for you. That one you may want to you may want to just sell that one and buy a new one by the time this is all said and done.
No. Well, even the new ones you get in, they'll have an update or 2 you got to put on there. Dude, this is only 1 or 2 generations ago, and it had all the max memory you could get on it. So I don't know.
Yeah, but dude, the games have gotten so technical. I even bought, like, they had a sale on Xboxes a couple years ago, and Hayden loaded up, my son loaded up ours with so much stuff. I had to go buy a different one. And even the newer ones with the faster processors and crap, these games are so, like, I've got Assassin's Creed. I've got to clear off, like you said, I'm going to need to get a week off to clear the games and then let that one load. And then, like, they're so big, you can only have one game. It's ridiculous. So
yeah, I think, I had Red
Dead Redemption.
Yeah. That took a lot of space. I had that. I had Call.
Yeah, because it was never ending.
Oh, it never ended.
I don't think the game had an end.
But hey, of all those games that you could play, just have fun. You're right. Assassin's Creed was pretty good.
Oh, I love me some Assassin. Dude,
I
I was playing the hell out of the Viking one, and then it got weird because I like slept with my brother's daughter or wife. I slept with my brother's wife, and then I saved my brother, and then it got weird. And I was like, I don't know what to do. And then we were like trying to hide it as I'm going out and storming more villages. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. What the hell is going on? And then one night it got so weird and trippy because in the Viking one, it's called Valhalla, and it's really sweet graphics. But like you go in between what do they call the next world?
yeah,
Valhalla. So you'd go to Valhalla, and like this dude, like my face became like a rock painting, and it started talking to me, and it was like the worst trip out ever. I was like, am I on acid watching Dark Side of the Moon? What are we doing? What is this game right now? So I couldn't take it anymore. Now it was sweet. I've got, like I said, I got the latest one that I think is set in Asia, where I'm excited to try to play that, but I ain't had time to even, like you talked about. I need to like go to bed, let it load, wake up the next day, and then try to play the stupid thing.
yeah.
So, what you and I, for those that don't know, we used to play Halo and we used to play Call of Duty. We would get online and play Call of Duty, and then one time we had a bunch of dudes from all over. We had a guy that was recovering from the Iraqi war in Maui. Remember him? He was a vet, so he was pretty good. But remember, we got in one time in Call of Duty. We were all having fun, and then we got in against a bunch of Navy SEALs, and I don't think we got one kill that game. Do you remember we got sniped like 9 times? You guys are all, because I wasn't any good anyway. I was like a little bird dog where I'd run out, and they'd shoot me, and I'll figure out where he came from and go get him. But we got off and we got into the community room, and they were all laughing in their southern accents. They were like, "You just got duped by a bunch of Army Rangers. Sorry, guys. See you later." And they were out of there. We couldn't do shit, dude. It was unreal. All you guys got, I think they got like 100 kills or something on us. It's 5-on-5.
Yeah, as I remember, the guy whose name was Maui, who was the best player on our team, I think he got a handful, but that was it.
Oh, it was unreal. I'd never seen anything like it. And then Halo, of course, everybody was cheating at Halo. That's when all this crap started. You want to know when the world went to hell, kids? It's when you all decided to mod and not play Halo fair with everybody.
Jump kills. How about
Jump kill, or you'd go run through a guy. Oh, no, he wasn't really there anymore. I modded you. You're dead anyway. What am I, playing a ghost? The hell is this? You cheated. You didn't win. You can't feel good about it. You cheated.
But there was nothing more satisfying when you could get one of those sword deaths, when you could kill a dude with a sword.
Oh, yeah, you just run through and just lance everybody.
I very rarely could ever get that done, but when you did, you're like, yeah.
I think we tried Gears of War too, but that also wasn't.
Gears of War a lot too, yeah. That was scary though, man. That was beastly.
Yeah, there was a haunted prison game I played once. That was scary too, called Shocker or Shockwave or something. That was nutty.
I used to play the old Doom game on a PC.
Yeah.
That thing was freaky.
Oh yeah. We weren't used to it being that raw.
In Raccoon City. What was that game that you went to Raccoon City and the
Last of Us or whatever?
that was the one they made all the movies out of too.
I know what you're talking about. What was that? Resident Evil or
Resident Evil?
Yes.
And one when you got the hallway and then things drop down and take you forever to kill those things. Oh,
dude, we had fun, and then it all went to hell because everybody was cheating. Bunch of cheaters.
Yeah.
Cheater.
Cheated, and then kids, family, and everything else.
Yeah, I was playing Call of Duty with you guys the night Hayden was born. Remember that? We were in the middle of a game, and I was like, Andy just came down. She's like, I don't feel right. I think we need to go to the hospital. I was like, boys, I guess I'm having a baby. I got to go.
I was doing the same thing when Ellie was born. I was playing with my son in the living room, and I guess the plug came out and water broke back in the bedroom. And the warden's back there yelling, blah, blah, blah. Finally, she had to waddle into the, my water broke.
Well, get in the car and go.
Gotta go, son. See you.
Yeah. Warm up the car. I'll be there in a minute. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right, guys. We're going to do this Silent Hill. That was another one I was thinking of. Silent Hill. Do you remember the Silent Hill games?
Them scary games were scary, man.
Yeah. That's why they were scary games. Did you ever play the Ninja Turtle game for NES?
Yeah, I played one of them. Yeah,
You go back that far?
yeah. No, I played that. I played Spider-Man. I used to love Spider-Man. You could swing.
Oh, hey, the Batman games, like when the Dark Knight movies came out, the Batman games that followed from that, those were friggin' sweet too. I used
You
to stay up all night
know,
playing those.
and they never got it right when we were playing in the middle of that. They got it. They put a game out, and I think I got it. It was boring, sucky. But I'm just surprised Star Wars didn't do a better job and put a massive game out. You know?
Well, you ought to see them now because that's all my son plays, and they're
Oh,
really cool now. The Jedi, there's some Jedi. The guys. Did you ever play? Shoot, they had the Battlefront. Star Wars Battlefront was really sweet because you could get in the AT-ATs and the snow speeders, and you could play all of them.
well,
So,
I don't play that one. One
no,
I
you'd
played,
like those.
you had to put the little ships out to go get the big ship. You had these battles, and it was like so freaking boring. I'm like,
No, it was stupid. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well,
I wanted Leia and CP3O and stuff like that.
oh, we all wanted Leia, not on a video game.
So yeah, Andy.
Good night, all. We'll see. Okay, real quick. Do we have any idea what the schedule's? So they're not playing till who plays Monday? The Nuggets Wolves game 5 is Monday, right?
Monday, a week from Monday. Yeah, what? I don't even know what today is.
Today's Wednesday.
Thursday,
Tomorrow's
Friday.
Thursday when you play.
Thursday, both teams play. That's game 3s. Saturday we play. That's game 4. Monday, game 5, and then I think then they go Thursday, Saturday, 6, 7.
Okay. So we'll try to do a podcast next week, Tuesday, then.
All right.
If there's not an Avs game to interfere with that.
Yeah.
But just watch my Twitter, folks. Ultimately, watch my Twitter and just know either Tuesday or Wednesday we'll do a podcast.
There you go. All right.
Because we got to get this figured out. But anyway, all right. And I'm going to be hanging out tomorrow night, Jackson's, watching the Avs, watching the Nuggets, kind of watching the draft, let's be honest, but not really. But come watch the games with me and Raj at Jackson's. So you want a couple of hockey meatheads there. You got that right there. So,
yeah.
And then you could call us when you're done. And I don't know, we'll just put you on speaker for the bar, I guess.
There you go. I'll give you a shout out.
All right. Good night, all. Thanks for watching. We appreciate all of you. Take care.